Hello, good evening, welcome to DTCC. Hello, hello. Can you hear me all right? If you can, give us a thumbs up. Hello, good evening, welcome. If you can. All right, let me just post the link to Discord. I don't know why, but this wasn't working. Hey Pat, how you doing? All right, let me post that to there. Alrighty ho. How are we all doing this Saturday evening? We have round 4 of season 14, the MX5 America's Cup, on a new track to DTCC, Blue Moon Bay Infield B. Normally when we come here we do the tri-oval, but this time I thought it'd be interesting. We'll try a completely different configuration, which is basically a rectangle with a vicious turn 1, which we will get to. I'm sure we'll see a few little incidents. This is from Wednesday, so this is pretty fresh. I haven't seen any of the results, so I have no idea who wins, so it should be good. Although I did hear from Mr. Tyson last night that there was a few little dramas in terms of race lengths and race starts. So I believe rather than the usual 2 15-minute races and then a 30, we've got 2 10 minutes and a 40. So I understand. Right, so we'll go through the ballast and we'll go through the tables. So we had a 15-minute qualifying session. And it looks like Mike is on pole again for this track. Very appropriately livered little MX5, Exxon sponsored. So he's on pole. I don't know. I should know better than numbers here. That is Wayne. I can tell that's Wayne because he's got his Adidas livery and he's got Little Tykes Racing, which is Wayne and myself's team. Although I've pulled out now, so he's fighting alone. But he's done a really good job getting on second on the grid. Then I think that's Dan in the British Racing Green. What I should do is really go to the registration, and I can tell the numbers. So 24 is, yep, that's Dan S. Then Pat in his renowned liveried Mazda, which looks very nice. Number 4, he's 4th on the grid, appropriately enough. And who we got here? 17. Who is that? Who is 17? That's James. Should have known. Gone for a kind of American scatter the decals all over the place livery. Looks very cool. I like that. So yeah, I think he's 5th. And 6th on the grid is Aloe and D. I should know that because that's my livery. Number 57. And I think this will be 7th on the grid is Chris R. and his Lando Norris liveried Mazda. Then top 3 in... Actually, no, this is not reverse grid. So bottom 3 in qualifying. Interesting. So we've got 79, which I think is... no, it's not Alex. 79 is Christian, the spunk buyer. Then almost at the back is our championship leader, Chris P. Pat saying qualifying was 10 minutes because of reduced number of drivers. And we didn't realise the race was only 10 minutes into the race with a few minutes in. Yeah, so I heard. Then last on the grid we have number 19, which is, I believe, Alex. Now I wonder if that was Alex or was that Edward. No, I thought so. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Alex. Edward qualified and did first 2 races. So we've got a second race for Alex Jr. Right, so 10 cars, completely different track, random lengths of races, so what could go wrong? Right, so let's get going into the first race. Standing start, which always looks a bit weird on an oval. And here we go. So Mike on pole. Let's see how we go on the first lap. So Mike takes this away. It looks like everyone got away clean. Yes, they did. Right, into this first turn then, which is basically off the banking, onto the flat, and then back onto the banking again. These cars with their soft suspension do not like that transition. Looks like has everyone got through? I think they have. Look at that. Everyone's through. Love it. Oh, the keyboard doesn't work, so why did I bother getting it set up? Right, so Mike's got the lead, but he's got Wayne. He's got Dan, actually. Dan's got a good start as they go through the couple of kinks before the only second of two corners really on this track. That's right, just realised my keyboard doesn't work in replay mode, so why did I bother hooking up? So yeah, basically we've just got two corners. Top right, you can see the track is basically as slightly rounded off the triangle. So Mike is leading us, and we're already into slipstream mode as he goes across the line. Dan's in second, then we've got Wayne drop down to third. It looks like Aloe's going to try down the inside as we go. 3 abreast into turn 1. Pat's done a demon move on the outside. Let's go and look at that again. It was awesome. Let's watch Pat. Right, he's on the outside here. Let's go on board. Chucks it round the outside of the pair of them. Look at that. What a move by Pat. Oh, I can see that transition is not great. Right. So Loe's down to 4th. Wayne's been dumped down to 5th from his 2nd on the grid. Chris is now up to 6th. He's got the championship leads. 1 and 2 in the championship are alongside each other as they go into this tight left-hander. Chris is going to make a move down the inside of Wayne. I think he's got it, and Chris is going to go from 7th to 5th in short order. Oh, I've got a bit of hay fever, a bit of a cough coming, so I'll mute every now and then. Right, so let's have a look up front. Mike's still leading. We've got a bit of a breakaway. Mike's on softs. So he did a good lap, but he was... Oh, Dan's making a move down the inside. Can he make it stick? To go off the banking on, back on the banking. No, not quite. Although he's now up to 3rd, he's deposed Pat. There's Chris P, who's on mediums. Let's see, I go through these kinks pretty much flat out. Through the left and then right kink. Then you've got hard braking of turn 4. Try and cut the corner as much as we can. And then basically turn 5 is non-event, it's flat out. So Chris R is in 6th. Wayne's dropped back, he's on hards, so his usual rules apply. He's obviously had a wall thump coming out of the last corner, or last real corner. The usual rules apply that you've got to use at least one set of hards, mediums and softs. And it looks like, oh, who's that? That's Pat going down the inside again of Aloe, so these two having a great scrap. Let's go on board with Aloe as we go. Oh, there's no transition. Right, I think we got behind us. Where's Chris? Oh, there he is. Chris P is in front. We got Lando Norris behind us. Look at that in the mirror. All we can see is that Lando Norris livery car, and Chris R giving us some rubble. That was a brutal one by. Let's have a look at Larry giving no room at all on the exit there. Let's watch that again. That's a good thing about the doing it on replay. I can do proper replays. Right, so Larry goes for the move down the inside, and that is really rubbish replay. Thanks for that. Gets it done, and that allows Chris R to slip into 4th. In the meantime, Dan has taken the lead now. Should we see if we can see when that was? Oh, it wasn't long ago. There we go. So it looks like Dan is gonna on his softs, same as Mike. Does Mike could go a bit, or Mike goes a little bit wide out of the first last corner. And that allows Dan to sweep on past. So 3rd is Pat with the 2 Chris's and Aloe with him. Now we'll go through the ballast in a second. So Wayne is in 7th. Spunkmeyer is in 8th with James for company, so they've well and truly dropped off the back, and then Edward is in 10th. Right, over the transition. Oh, I thought Mike had lost it. Let's go on board with that one. Let's see how they're taking this corner. Little downshift in the third, and very nicely held through the first transition, Mike. And I think we're going to hit it again. Very nice. Expect to see some thrills through there. That's going to give Pat a chance. He's got Aloe, who's defending from Chris. Oh, what happened there? Oh wow, that was a weird one. It's through a kink. Let's go on board with Chris. So we're fine through there. He's got a nice run on Aloe. Oh, he just understeers into the outside barrier. Let's just make sure there was no foul play there. No, he just went straight in, didn't he? Right, so that's going to put Chris way down. He's got a lot of damage as well, so it takes him out of the running. So Chris P has now moved up to 5th, although he's in 4th and Pat's in 3rd. So yeah, balanced situation is now beginning to bite, because our runaway championship leader, Chris Pengelly, has got 112 kilos of ballast. Next up is Chris R with 20, so Chris P is carrying 92 kilos of ballast, more than anyone else. Right, Pat and Aloe, into the first corner we go. Aloe's got it. Oh, they really struggle through there. Can we keep it clean on the exit? We can, just about, and Pat has driven around the outside again of Aloe. Pat's having a very rich vein of form at the moment. He had a cracking race with VRC on Thursday in the Red Bull Junior X's, which I might copy for season 15. He's gone a little wide there, has he? No. Right, so those three are having a cracking battle. Wayne's now on his own in 6th. I say on his own, he's got Chris for company. Chris is on his hards. That might explain why he just understeered off. Then we've got Christian with James on his tail. Chris is on hards. James is on mediums, and then Alex Jr. Edward doing a good job, although he's just had a bit of a prank. He's coming up to be lapped. So Dan's still leading. Soft's starting to wear a little bit. As we said, this is actually only a 10-minute race, so tyres shouldn't be a problem here. Although with a 40-minute round race 3, that might be pushing it for fuel, so that's going to be interesting how that pans out. Right, Stan's leading. Mike is still in 2nd. Pat is still in 3rd. Bit of a gap now to Aloe, who's in 4th. His cars do look good around the oval. He's got Chris P on his tail, but with 112 kilos of ballast more than he has, which is a lot. In the background, looks like Chris is going to make a move on Wayne. I think he is. Across the line he goes. I imagine this corner must be quite sketchy on hards. I'll try and just keep it balanced. If you watch the throttle pedal, which is what Chris is doing. Bit of a twitch, beats through. Wayne's down to 7th, and Christian on his own. Pat's got fastest lap as well. So he's on his own in 8th. James, I think, has obviously had a skirmish or two on mediums, 9th, and then Edward in 10th. Right. Just coming up to the end of lap 8, so we're already 7 minutes in. Right, Dan leads us across the line, probably a second or so. Mike might just be in the tow. See if he can do anything about that. Then there's Pat. What's up to Aloe? Aloe has dropped. Why is that? What happened there? Nothing. He's just been passed by Chris, isn't he? Let's see where that happened. He's on mediums. Chris is also on mediums, so it looks like Chris got a good run. Whoa, that's definitely on the outside. Bit of sparks and he's through. Nice move by Chris P. What's Chris doing? He's still got Wayne for company. both on hards, so getting their hards done now. This track is not a tyre limited track, it's probably going to be fuel. Let's see, we're 7 minutes in, and already half a tank down. But actually, looking at it, a 15-minute race would have been tight for fuel. Interesting, they might have had to do a cheeky bit of fuel saving even for the 15-minute races. Right, Christian is on his own, so is James, so is Edward. Right, Dan's still leading. Oh, getting sideways through turn 1. Let's go back and enjoy that. It's interesting, they take different lines through here, but Dan's trying to break the toe a little bit. This car can be a bit skittish when you change gear, so you want to really downshift when the thing's pointing straight. Alright, Mike's still in second. Lap times are very close. Pat is third. Chris P is fourth, and he's got a Lowy right on his tail. Now we go on board with a Lowy. Can he get a bit of a toe now as we go down the main straight? I think the answer to that is yes. Here he comes. Is a Lowy going to throw one down the inside as we go to the banking? I think he is. Here he comes. Here comes Batman. Actually the Joker. No. Decides not to. Chris does a wall of death around the outside. Stays on it. Alright, Chris is now kind of broken 3. He's doing 53s on his hard. That's pretty competitive. It's only half a second off the guys in front of me. Right, although he's right on the bumper of the pink peril. Are we going to try another move like we did a few laps ago? Oh, Pat gets it fully sideways. Let's go look for the rear end of the renowned Mazda. It looks like Lowy's got a really good toe and run out of the last corner. Let's swap to the pink peril, bit of bunt drafting by Lowy. Are they catching Pat? I don't think so. Is a Lowy going to try again down the inside? He is. Oh, he gives. Oh no, they've both gone. Oh, let's go back and watch that. Let's just see what happened there. Let's come out and watch from Chris's perspective. I'm just about to finish the first race. It's a short one. So here we go. Looks like Lowy was unsettled. Gave Chris a bit of a nudge. Chris almost held it. And Lowy is facing the wrong way on the wall. So that's going to allow Chris, if he can get through. We've got the recovering Chris P. Could Chris avoid them? Oh. So actually, the net result of that is Pat is now 3 and gone in 3rd. Chris has jumped up to 4th, but then we've got 5th and 6th and 7th, all really close, but Lowy and Chris have only actually dropped 1 place. So, let's see, is Lowy going to try another dive bomb into the last corner, turn 4? He might have a chance here, and then who else is looking interesting? Christian, no, he's missed. Oh, so we, right, that was silly, we missed the finish. Can't have that, can we? Right, here you go then, Dan, he was being closed up by Mike towards the end. They've gone the full race distance. It might have been different, but it looks like Dan is going to come across the line to take his first victory for quite some time, I think, in DTCC. So well done, Dan, and a good result for Mike as well. Pat gets a great 3rd. Then Chris is going to come across the line in 4th, profiting from the carnage of the previous lap. But then Chris up P 5th, Wayne gets 6th, Lowy 7th, Christian's going to get 8th, and James is going to get a 9th, and Edward's already finished. Alright, let's pause that. Whoa, that was a race, wasn't it? So, let's go up to the... Dan is your winner. Great win from Dan. With Mike 2nd and Pat 3rd. Right, my laptop has run out of power because it's useless. Let's get stream up on my phone so I can see the comments. Right, annoyingly, there's now 2 round 4s on YouTube, which is a bit annoying, and the live one's not coming up either on this. Yep, Pat, third with fastest lap. Don't get many of them. No, absolutely, and he did a sterling job. Right, there we go. Mute that because I want to hear myself because I sound very boring. Right, so that was race 1. Let's have a look. I like you saying, sorry, Chris in the pink. I'm surprised you didn't put that one in, but that wasn't your fault. That was just you could argue that was my fault, Andy. Because I picked a track where the cars are seriously unstable. Right. Let's get out of that. I can't see where the exit is because people keep popping up saying they're watching. Right, that was round 1. Race 1. So race 2 will be a full reverse grid from race 1, and I will try and not look at the results when it pops up, because GT7 still has this annoying habit of putting the results up. So don't look on the right. Now I've said it, you'll probably do it. Don't look on the right. Don't look on the right. Do not look on the right. There you go. Yeah, Andy's saying I had no control on the bump. Yep, I'm not surprised. Oh, hang on. Oh, I've exited. So busy not looking on the right, I didn't look where to press. Try and go back there again. Overall's always good fun though, aren't they? Even though this is a rectangle. Right, don't look on the right. Do not look on the right. Right, here we go, reverse grid then. Let's have a quick rundown of what tyres people are using before we start. So Edward again, I guess, he's on hards. James is on softs, he'll be racy. So is Chris. So is Andy. So is Wayne. So is Chris P. So is Chris R. Pat's on mediums. Mike's on mediums. And Dan's on hards. Okay, interesting. Right, let's go then. Proper start this time. 5 lights. And away we go. Good start. Edward a little bit slow away, but I think everyone's away. Looks like James is going to leap into the lead. So he does. He's been challenged by Christian, who's got a joker on his tail, which is quite apt. He hit Chris twice in that race. Right, Chris P is 4th, Wayne is 5th. We go through the first of the 2 kinks. Should be pretty easy. Let's just stay on Wayne because there's a lot of action as we go through the kink. They're all going to make it through into the braking area of turn 4. Wayne goes a little bit wide, hits the barrier. Chris R is past, and that might make him. Yeah, Mike's got past Wayne, who's got a little bit of the GT shuffle going on, so I wonder if his connection's not fully 100%. Right, if we go to the front, looks like there's a bit of weaving going on, trying to break the toe. So James is leading as we go across the line into turn 1 for the second time. Chris is tight on a low, he's up to 2nd now. All on softs mainly, so Chris is down to 3rd, but he looks like he's going to attack his DAC Motorsport teammate, is he? No, as they go through the kick, look at that, they look awesome through there. Let's go on board with Christian. We've got championship leader Chris R right behind us. Is he going to make a move? No, I don't think so. Get the braking and the gear change is done nice and early. All still very close. James is trying to shake the toe from the lowy, which means that Christian is just going to try and drive past the pair of them. Right, where, oh look, so Chris R and Chris P are having a bit of a battle. In the meantime, Aloe is going to go for the lead, I think. Let's see if he makes it. No, he's not going to try, but oh, it's so close. It's like Chris. Somebody's got a bit of a shuffle going as well, which might be my internet connection. Right, Aloe is going for the lead. Can he go through inside of the kinks? I think he's got it. Yep, he has got it because James has tucked straight back in on his toe. And we've got the other Chris, there's 3 Chris's on our tail. Very late braking by low, he gets a bit sideways and that's a proper hit. So I think that's going to do us as we come through the last corner, turn 5, but like 3 of the corners on this track, they're just flat out kinks, effectively. Right, so James is down to 4th, he's about to get mugged by Mike, who's had a good start. Mike's up to 4th now. Those mediums have started to warm up and Mike has just done the quickest of a 53.9, and we look like, what's going on here? It's like Wayne's going to try and chuck it down the inside. James, no, they're all being very cautious through that corner, which is good. Right, Dan, who won the first race, he's in 7th on his hards, having a battle with Chris. Chris must have had another, yeah, he's done a 103, so Chris has had another little adventure. Let's just see what's going on with these two. We're going to try brave it out. He's purple. Oh, a little bit of a lift there, because I think he thought we might be pinched through the kink. Oh, gave Dan a little bit of a nudge, but I think he waited for him. There's Pat. Pat is in 9th, so he's falling off the back of the pack on mediums, and then Edward doing a good job actually keeping Pat in sight. Edward's on a 56.8, so improving a lot. He's only less than 3 seconds off the lead. Right, Christian has taken the lead. Right, let's see what happened there. Oh, we have to go back a long way. Right. Let's see what he does there. Oh, nice move down the inside. Lovely move. Lovely and clean as well. Gets it done through turn 1. Now I'd like to... oh, that one's tight. Oh, I see a Lowy's view for that one. Right, where is he? Where is he? There he is. Watch this. Oh, it was a bit of a nudge. That's going to allow the championship leader, Chris, to have a go, and Mike's getting involved as well. Look at this. So is Mike going to try and go around the outside of Chris? No, he doesn't. Mike's looking racy tonight. And then we've got a battle here between James and Wayne. Wayne is up to 5th. Let's see what Push Gently can do. Let's go on the back of... oh, didn't want that one. There we go. Back of Chris's car, looking back at Mike, who's giving him a bump draft. He's going to try and... oh, although he gets completely sideways but holds it. Oh, what a catch that was. Oh, sorry, this is going to be a long broadcast. I was just repeatedly going in and out of people's cars, watching the cars. Watch this for a bit of car control. Gets it sideways, full lock. Manages to keep it straight as well, no tank slapper. So Chris goes through, so does Mike, but we're still facing forwards. Nice bit of control there. Well, that ACC is helping. Right, so this, once it's done, these 4 having a cracking scrap has allowed Wayne and James to catch up. So we're going to have a 6-way battle for the lead. They'll keep it clean. I think they will. Right, let's just quickly see what's going on. So Chris and Dan are still having a little battle. So Dan is sizing up. Let's just see what's going on up front first. Is there... so Aloy might have a... yeah, here we go. Aloy's going to chuck one down the inside. He's going to try and go for 3rd. He's got it so far. Interesting what line works as we go through that transition. You can see they're already sliding everywhere. Pat saying I had a moment with Edward on the first corner lap 1, so it was right off the back after giving the place back. Yeah, good on you. Right, look at this. So we are... oh. So I think Wayne then just gave a lower an inadvertent nudge. So I don't think they can go 2 abreast particularly easy through there. Let's just see what's going on behind. So Chris and Dan have separated a little bit. So let's look on Chris. Uncharacteristically quite qualifying in race 1. But he's on the back of Christian at this time. As we go into turn 1 again. So we're already 5 minutes into this race. Chris is going to look for the outside. That'll be a brave move as we go into the banking. We'll try and go round the outside. Oh, huge off for Mike. So another one's got caught out by the banking. Let's do the... No, actually that's a rubbish view. Let's do that one. Yeah, I think it's just a case of getting it slightly wrong. Oh yeah, I think he just downshifted at the same time. Oh, that's a nasty one. Alright, let's get out of that one. Right, so let's put James up to 4th, Wayne up to 5th, and 4th, he's now 3rd. Going after a low, as they go through the kink, and this time they make it through. And he's lining up, look at this, Wayne on his soft, he's lining up. Oh, we're going to have a 3-way into the 4th turn. Not quite, that actually probably helped Chris P a bit, although Wayne's got a really good run on him, look at this. He's going to drive around the outside. That's the ballast for you. So as we said, Chris is carrying 112 kilos of ballast over virtually everyone, and it's just been driven around the outside by Wayne. That's purely the ballast talking. 112, but he probably makes it quite stable through that corner, ironically. So yes, he's turning him on acceleration, and Wayne's going to line him up. Gives him a little nudge, but it has some acceleration as we go out of the corners, but actually through the banking he's probably helps him, ironically. Right, so Loey's back up to 4th, James right behind him. Looks like Christian is escaping a little bit up front. Chris is in 5th, he's purple as well, so he's just got the fastest lap of the race. Dan has now got the recovered Mike for company. See how this pans out. Well, we've got a bit of a skirmish going on up front. Looks like Wayne's going for 2nd place, and he's got it by the looks of it. Yes, wheel to wheel. You see, Chris is definitely carrying more speed. Oh, that was wide. He's definitely carrying more speed through turn 1, so that might just be Chris's talent. But it's probably helped by the fact this car is a bit heavier and therefore a bit more stable. But he's killing him off the corners. So Loey's now behind him, and we were looking at push gently attacking Dan. Mike's got the tyre advantage. Can he get past British Racing Green? Who's got the hards on. We're sort of slowing him down too much. In the meantime, let's see what's going on. Wayne has got... James is right behind Loey. Let's see what he can do. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? He's trying, but not quite. Everyone keeps it neat and tidy there. So Chris R is down to 5th. Down 56.2. So there's a battle here. So softs are starting to go a little bit on James's car, but they're looking okay. He's attacking Loey, who's also got the same tyres. Look at that. What a lovely drift that was. Wayne is... Let's see what he does on this lap. He's starting to close on Christian. Let's see what Chris does on his next lap as he goes across the line. Does a 54.79. Wayne does a 54 dead. Wayne is catching pretty quickly here. He's probably a bit annoyed actually with this form. The race has been short by 5 minutes. Loey is in 3rd now. There's Edward pulling over. Just let the leaders through. So this is probably our last lap, I would think. Yes, it will be. They're not getting to the line. Right, so can Wayne do anything about Christian and the run to the line? Chris is going to keep it neat and tidy out at the last corner. She does. And we've got Loey closing up as well. We are going to have a 3-way run to the line. Looks like Loey. Look at that. What a run he got out of that last corner. Christian's going to hold it, I think, just about. He's got a Loey in his toe. So Christian gets the win. Well done, Christian. Loey gets 2nd. Wayne gets 3rd. James gets 4th. Chris P gets 5th. Chris R gets 6th after his huge off. And Dan gets 7th, Mike gets 8th. Pat is going to come across for 9th. Let's see Pat across the line. Edwards finished 10th. Well done, Edward. 55.3. Getting some pace there, Alex. Definitely getting there. We can get him in for the next season 15. Right, there is Pat. So, that was a good race. Christian takes it from Aloe. And then we've got Wayne in 3rd, getting the podium. James in 4th. Championship leader Chris P in 5th. Chris R, 2nd in the championship at the moment, in 6th. Edward must need to calm. Yeah, no, he's got the pace. Dan in 7th. Mike 8th. Pat 9th. And Alex, also known as Edward, in 10th. Right. Now, the feature race will be the total scores of race 1 and 2 combined to set the grid and the ballast. So let's see. This is going to be quite tight, probably, because we've got quite a mixed up set of results. Right, I think this is 40 minutes. I think there's going to be some fuel saving required. There we go. He says okay, Ed was okay lapping in quali, but then panics in the race. Well, no, he did 55, so right, let's get that going. Okay, right, let's have a quick rundown. Oh, it's a rolling start. Let's just pause that for a minute. Thanks to Aloe for the replays, by the way. Let's get that right. Okay, let's have a quick rundown. So, I think it's a 40-minute race. So tyres will come into play in this one because they've got to use all 3 compounds for at least 2 laps. So, Christian's on pole. So he obviously scored the most points at the first 2 races. So that means Chris gets 20 kilos. So he's now on a net 20. Mike was 2nd. Yes, of course. Right. Well, I haven't got... Alright, let me have a look, actually. Did you have Pat in Discord, the admin bit? Was there the... points? Right. Okay, right, so... If I'm right here, Logic Racing, so Dan had the most points. He had 30, so he's got 20 kilos. Christian Spunkmeyer was 2nd, so he's got 12. And Aloe was 3rd with 6. And then from memory, so Chris R and Chris P both lose 20. So Chris R will be on 0, and Little's GP will be on 92. So both the 2 Chris's dropped 20 kilos, which I'm sure Chris P is quite pleased about. And then because we had the grid order was wrong for race 3's feature race, we've taken that into account. So Christian actually moves up onto pole. So even though he should have been 2nd on the grid, he's moved up to pole to make up for the wrong order applied last week. So Chris is on pole, then Mike in 2nd. He also has moved up 2 spots because of last week. Then Dan is 3rd, so he would have been on pole. Luckily, he's got 20 kilos for his pleasure, but that's actually moved down 2 spaces. Then Aloe is 4th, he moves down 1. Pat is 5th, he moves up 1. And Wayne is 6th, he moves down 1. Chris is 7th, Little's GP is 8th, Alex is 9th, and James is 10th. So James actually moves down 1. Right, so here we go. I think this is 40 minutes. Rolling start. So let's keep an eye on fuel, because fuel is unlikely to go to a 1-stop using the full beans. Pit stops here are very long, so I would expect to see some fuel saving and some drafting. But anyway, Chris leads us away with Mike trying to go around the outside already, and Dan is getting involved as well. So everyone got through. Pat is in 4th. Aloe 5th, or who was that who's dropped back? It's Alex. Oh, Alex and... What happened here? I think Alex and Mike might have got... Alex and Christian might have got together. Right, follow the drone cam. Oh, I don't know, it's a bit of 1/6 and 1/2 dozen the other, that one. Let's watch that back again. That's hard to tell. I think they'll both get in sideways and squirreling all sorts of nasty shapes. Let's have a look. Alex definitely loses it. But then Chris kind of comes down on him as well. So, yeah, no stewards have been put in. So, we'll see if the one is. Right. Oh, Alex is doing the right thing. He's waiting for him. Right, back to the front we go. And Christian is still leading. Push gently. He's attacking Dan. Can Dan get down the inside? I think he's got him. He has. Very nice. There we got. Pat has now moved up to 4th. Another good start by him. Chris is in the thick of it. And Loey's dropped down to 6th. And Wayne is in 7th. And a little gap to James. Right, so. There's Dan. He's got a boot full of Exxon. Christian's made a bit of a break of it. Oh, that looked like it was going to go wrong and it did. Oh, unlucky Dan. That's so easily done by the looks of it. It's all about keeping out the wall, I think, in turn 1 this race. Right, so Mike's up to 2nd. Chris is now up to 3rd on a set of mediums. And let's keep an eye on what people are doing shift-wise, and also we can't tell what fuel people are running, but you want to be sitting in people's toes. In people's toes, not on their toes. Mike is cracking on though. You can see though already, if we flick between the two, if you look at the fuel gauge, Mike is already lower. He's already pushing the fuel a bit harder than Christian up front. Go through to turn 1. Oh, a bit of grass, but got away with it. Mike's trying to go round the outside. Let's go on board with Mike. And there we can see Christian. We got a very fast approaching Chris behind us. Let's go. Look in the rear of Christian's car. Mike is not going to try there, surely. Who the king thinks about it. Gets a really nice exit. Oh, Mike's got a bit of oversteer, but holds it. That looked a bit leery. Still pointing the same way though. These cars, because they've got a turbo fitted to them, they can get a bit twitchy on the power, which is good. Right, Loey's right behind Pat. Giving a bit of a bump draft. This is definitely not the usual oval tactics because this car's so easy to lose. It looks like Mike's gone again. Unlucky. Oh, lucky we ghosted this race. Because turn 1 is so sketchy, it's not just a case like high speed ring or Blue Moon Bay tri-oval that you can just follow a car closely and pump draft and the like. You've got to be super careful through these high-speed corners of turn 1 particularly. So there's still a lot of driver skill involved. It's not that easy. You don't tend to get the pack racing on this track quite as much, although we've got a bit of a pack in 3rd. 2 leaders are now broken away a bit. Christian's towing Chris around. Pat goes into turn 1 under attack again from Loey. Can Loey make this one stick? No. Nice and steady. Wayne's got a good run out there. Look at that. Really good run. But look at his fuel. It's about the same. Loey's doing best. Let's see what the top 2 are doing. About a quarter gone for all of them. So they're going to try and get it to 20 minutes, I would imagine. Oh, a big thump there. That's going to allow Wayne to catch up. And it does. We're just going to drive past Pat. There goes Wayne. I expect to see Loey as well. There he goes. Got damage. Hopefully that'll run its way off in due course. Then behind we've got Alex recovering. There's James. Now what's going on here? Dan is almost a third through his fuel, and so is Chris actually, so there's not a huge amount of fuel saving there. Mike is recovering. It looks like the top two are doing the best so far. Just over a quarter used. I imagine Chris R is sitting behind Chris L. We'll see where he shifts. He's still revving it. Maybe he's on a different fuel mix. Right, we've got this three-way going on for third. So Pat's got back up to third. So I get a little tap from Wayne in fourth. Just giving ourselves a little bit of a bump draft. Be interesting to see what the drivers thought of this bit, because let's say the usual tri-oval, it's pretty much turn one, and then you don't have to worry about it. You can then just sit in someone's toe for the rest of the lap, whereas this one you've got to be very careful you don't trip over each other through the first corner. Right, so a bit of a gap now. Alex is up to sixth, but he's using his fuel. You can see that he's... Now I don't know whether the drivers, I assume they knew at this point this was 40 minutes, but he's going through his fuel, and the two-stop I think is going to be slow here. James is definitely saving his fuel more than Alex in front of him. Then we've got Dan, who's been caught up again by Chris, who's also going through his fuel, so he's not fuel saving either. Just done purple, so he's definitely not fuel saving. So you get a bonus for fastest lap. Back to the front we go. Christian is still leading. Chris R seems content to sit behind him. Got a little bit more fuel on board. And what's going on is battle for third. Wayne has got a little bit of a gap. He pitches it in. Nice drift. That also hits the wall a little bit. That might give a Lowy a bit of a run as we come through banked last corner. GT7 shuffle there. What's going on behind? Right, I think we've got a three-way battle now for seventh between Dan, James and championship leader Chris. I think it's safe to say this will be Chris's drop round, this one. This could well be. We'll see what goes on. This will be, I think, the first round for a long time where Chris hasn't won any of the races. Well, so I missed this one now. I don't like the ovals. Right, where's Mike? Oh, Mike, I think, has had more drama through the first corner. We'll call Mike John Lacey. He's rapid, but a bit feisty through the corners, let's say. Right, so first set across the line, then we've got Pat has got Wayne now, so Wayne and Pat are swapping. Alex is catching these guys. What was that? Rally crosses line there from Pat, goes out wide. That's going to give Wayne a chance, I think, as we go into the two kinks. You can see this is blind as well, so Wayne's giving himself plenty of sight line through the first one. Are we going to make a move into turn 4? He's certainly shaping up for it. Oh, he gave a bit of a lift. No one's behind us. In fact, looking behind us, Alex is now caught up, but he's over half through his fuel. So he's most definitely going to have to two-stop. How's Wayne doing? Wayne's on half as well. Here comes Alex. He's not sparing the horses. Revving it out. Let's compare his fuel. So, is Lowy going to get him back? No, not quite. Right, so let's compare his fuel, which is now under half, to second and third. So Chris R definitely is looking good here. He's got half a tank of fuel. A little bit better than Christian's. What are we doing here? So Pat's used a bit more, but they've caught up, which is good. So you can see where the first two have been out on their own, but they've been working together. They're fuel saving. And they're going to eke this one out. Now I think third and fourth are hoping they can start getting a bit of a tow and get themselves back onto a positive fuel deficit. Right, into turn one we go. Pat takes a very tight line going through there. Decided that's the way to do it. Looks like Wayne's going to get him on the way out. He does. Very nice, Wayne. Through he goes up to third. Now on Chris R's tail. They look good through these quick kicks. And Wayne is on the purple. Is he going to hassle Chris and get himself up to second, or just sit behind the pair and get a nice big tow? What's going on behind? And look who's catching up. It's a pesky pink Peril. Not that far behind, so we've got top 8 certainly within sight of each other, and James isn't that far behind either. Mike is, I think, now treating this as a bit of a drift session. Right, into the first corner we go. So everyone's kind of working this one out. I thought Chris was losing it there. Chris is definitely in the pound seats at the moment. Pat has got back ahead of Wayne, so those two have the cracking race. But Chris is definitely playing this nicely in terms of his fuel. He's happily sitting in second, and then Chris can do all the work. Right, what we've got here? We've got a battle here. Alex is now up to fourth, going past Wayne. So Wayne was in third, he's now in fourth. Oh, Alex has a big one, and unfortunately he takes... Oh, don't slow down there, Alex. I'm sure you're off the racing line. He's taken Wayne with him. Let's go on board with... Oh, that's so unlucky, Wayne. That's so unlucky. Big damage. Right, so that's taken, unfortunately, Wayne out of the equation through no fault of his own. Alex will probably wait for him. So Chris R is up to fourth now, stealthily. And it's as you were at the top. Well, that was a wide line from Pat, but he managed to keep it on, just about on track. Right, Chris is certainly revving, taking the MX-5 to the red line. If this plays out, Chris, the two Chris's up front could be single stopping here. And be miles in front. So pit stops are long here. Right, Pat's in third. Chris I in fourth. Then we got Lowe in fifth. Alex in sixth, who didn't redress by the looks of it. Right, so there could be a couple of little penalty points coming here. I think there could be a couple from a Lowe. And I think there's going to be one for Alex at least. We'll have a look at that one with him, with Chris as well. But in the meantime, he's having a crack at Alawi around the outside. Is he going to try and cut down the inside? Yeah, he'll keep as straight as he can there. And then he's going to give Alawi a bit of a bump draft. Here's hashtag Team SCT. There we go, Team SCT Mazda. Of course he is, I did delivery. Dan's catching him up as well, and Wayne is now got James for company. Mike isn't that far behind actually. He looks a bit forlorn, but he's not too far off the back of ninth there. Right, Pat is in. Decided to get rid of his hards. He's still right. So Pat is classically doing a 2-stop. See how long this takes. You see, it takes so long to get into your pit box here. Doing a 1-stop. Now obviously it depends on what tyres people have run. Yeah, that's taken 16 seconds to even get into his box. And he's going to have to fuel as well. So I think that knocks him out of the equation. Chris is still leading. And we've got the two. So we've got 3 Chris's, and he looks like Chris P is attacking Chris R into the final corner. It's not really the final corner, but it's the final real corner. But he has got no fuel. So actually he's the worst of all of them, so he really is two-stopping. But not this lap. Decides he's going to carry on. He's going to put the leader, who's led the entire race I think so far, under a bit of pressure. As we go into turn 1, let's watch from Chris's car. Try and keep it straight as we come out, hit the banking so the car's nice and straight. But there's Christian, we're still there. Oh, we're going to go side by side. We are. That was nicely done between the pair of them. So Chris P takes the lead, I think for the first time tonight, but Spunwire's not going to let this one go as we go into the last corner. There you go, boys, that's how you race through that last corner without hitting each other or the wall. But what that's done, that's put Chris R, particularly with his 92 kilos of ballast. Christian's actually running the most here, he's got 20, and there we go, a late move, and that looked really late. I hope he didn't cross the line going in, because that looked very late. So they're definitely two-stopping. They've got to hope that their pace of revving it is going to pay off. James has now moved up to 4th. Wayne is in 5th, but he's having now a battle with Mike. So Mike's thinking, yay, I've caught someone up. No, actually, no. Mike, unfortunately, a lap behind, that's why. That's unfortunate for Mike. Right, so let's see who gets out of these guys, and let's see where they are on the track. So they're going to be a lap behind. Yeah, so Chris R is definitely one stopping. You can see there's a lap in it. So saving fuel is doing him the no end of good. So he's going to certainly jump up on the scores for tonight. Let's have a look. So he was 24 points after the first 2 races tonight. And he get 40 here, so a win here will probably be one of his best nights. Right, Haloe, he's going to be in for fuel as well. He's going to have to try and stretch that last stint out, I would suggest. And yeah, as we said, they are exactly a lap behind, so you've lost a lap. You've lost 53 seconds, 54 seconds on the stop. I'll be amazed if you can catch that back up in 20 minutes. What's that? It's about 20 laps, so you're going to have to go 2.5 seconds a lap faster. I think that's unlikely. Right, so this could be a battle between the 1-stoppers and the 2-stoppers. Dan's trying not to get in the way because 1 and 2 are still battling. Chris doesn't want to drop off the back of Chris. Dan's in the way. Wayne is in. Could he get that? That's tantalisingly close. You do not want really to have to short fill. Pat has got 2/3 of a tank, so he's doing exactly that. He's doing a 2-stop. Dan's got quite a lot of fuel in, so he might try and run this to the end. Alex has got quite a lot in as well. Right, Chris has taken the lead. I think all that lap traffic, he's taking the lead, but they're battling it out, these two. Right, Christian's pulled the pin. He's going to try and get his last stint to do just over 20 minutes, which is doable. Chris, in the meantime, has got a few more laps left. So he can take it a bit steadier and also put a bit less fuel in at the end. Sorry, in his 1A stop, and save a bit of time. James is still going. James has backed it off, I think. He's quite a long way behind in second, but he's obviously backed it off to save a bit of fuel. There's Christian is in, and Loey is in. Pretty much the same with fuel. Here comes Pat, but we know he's 2-stopping. And these two aren't even moving yet, so Pat is going to move into 3rd. So I said it was a lap. It's not quite a lap, is it? And bearing in mind, Pat is going to be a shorter second stop as well, but yeah, it's not far for that. Right, so Christian and Aloe come out together, and then they're passed by Chris P And they've come, oh, look at this, they've all come amongst it. So this is not going to help. Oh, it might actually help Christian, because he's got some friends to play with. So he's racing these guys. So he's on the back of, who's that he's racing with? Yeah, so he's on the back of Alex. He needs to take this a little bit longer, this stint. He's got some very rapid two-stoppers around him. So he can stick on their tail, save a bit of fuel, which is, I think we're going to see now, as he drops into the toe. He'll probably give Chris a little bump draft, or maybe just sit on his tail. Judging by the rate his revs are rising, I would suggest he's probably quite high on the fuel mix. And therefore, save a bit. Oh, he's dropped off a bit there. He's on mediums again. Right, James is in. Chris is still going, so he's got a nice positive fuel balance here. And I say, I've got no idea how this finishes. I would say Chris is in the pound seats here. Depends what lap times he's doing, but he's really dropped it off now. He's doing 56s though. That's interesting. We haven't really looked at the fuel. He's obviously really dropped this one off to try and get this thing home for another lap, to do 23 laps. And he's going to short fuel it a little bit. Pat is going to take the lead, probably. He's got half a tank. Alright, let's see. Spelmeyer's dropped off the back now of the guys in front, so he's not able to fuel save. He's doing 55s. So we know the quick guys can get in the 53s. So actually, it's me saying you've got to catch up 2.5 seconds a lap. If Chris could regularly do 53 fives, it wouldn't be that far short. It wouldn't be that far short. So Chris is still in the pits. He'll probably, for safety's sake, go pretty much full tanks, because you can't guarantee that you're going to be using fuel at the same rate. That means Pat is going to be into the lead. Chris is still pitting. Here comes Christian, who's going to take the lead, but he's got an eighth of a tank left. Chris is now rolling. Can he get off the back of Christian? That's going to be quite key. He's on fresh mediums. He's got a lowie to play with, which is probably quite lucky for Chris. He's got a little bit of a gap to Christian. Chris has filled it up. Right, that's what we thought. That allows him to run pretty much full beans, I would imagine. It's always a danger when you do the oval races, that if you've been sitting in someone's slipstream, you get lulled into a bit of a false insecurity. I am excited you're in the lead, Pat. I just said Pat has got into the lead. There we go, let's focus on Pat. It's a bit of a, it's not a net lead though, Pat, is it? It's not quite as exciting as it could be, but it's still a lead nonetheless. And he's got a good lead as well. Virtually that straight ahead. And Chris is going for him though. He's done 54.9. He's battling with Alex as we go through the kinks. Alex is going to be inside for the slight right kink, which gives him the line. It does indeed. Is Chris going to try and go down the inside? Oh, I think it was a bit of a touch there. I think, yes, there was definitely a touch. Was that a bit of revenge, I think? Let's have a quick look on that one. I think there was a little bit of a nudge as we came through the... let's see where Alex is. Where is he? There he is. I think that... just a little bit of contact. Let's have a look. Yeah, just a little bit of a nudge. Unsettled the... MX-5 in front of him. Could almost be advantaged by contact, that one. A few little things I'm going to have to remember to have a look at again post-race. Right, so they're going for it, those two. Both got similar fuel. Dan is up to 4th now. But these guys, so the top 4 are all 2 stopping. Let's see where Pat is. So Pat, where is he? Let's try and do a time check. I'm intrigued actually. This is not quite the horror show that it could be. Right, so he's done a 25. Where are we? Right, coming out last corner on 24. Right. This is the one-stoppers. Let's see what that gap roughly is. It's about 14 seconds. So I don't think they... Well, they've taken 14 seconds out. They're doing 55s. What's Chris doing? Chris is doing 53. So it's definitely a second and a half in this. I don't think it's going to be quite enough, but it's definitely not a foregone. So we're going to go three-way into the first corner, are we? Christian's down the inside of a low-in. Chris is in the back in the net lead. It looks like he's got past Christian. That's probably because he can now go for broke a bit on the pace. And also Christian's got 20 kilos. So Chris is going to hope he can stick behind the Lando Norris. Pat saying little wins when I get them. Absolutely, 100%. It's an interesting way of slowing the car down, going into the turn 4. Give it a whack on the barrier. Right, so it's going to be interesting how this plays out. Whilst Chris R is in, I'd say, the box seat, if Chris L can sit behind either him or a Lowy and just save enough fuel to get him positive. And Lowy's decided bump draft. What's the Lowy got? So Lowy's fuel. So Lowy actually is in this as well. He might be trying to one stop as well. He's got the same fuel as Chris behind him. So I think this is a three-way fight for the win here. The three DAC Motorsport boys. Even though Chris R only races Nordschleifer, we'll call him DAC Motorsport. Look at these three having a race. Maybe we should just do ovals. What do we think? I might come back if we just did ovals. Right, Pat's in. Leader is in for his second stop. So this will be net. Interestingly, he's actually got quite a lot of fuel left on board. So hopefully you'll only put in half or so. Right, so Little's GP is still your leader. He's still got a reasonable amount of fuel on board actually, but so has Alex and Dan. So these guys are all battling for, I'm going to wager 4th, but who knows. Then we've got this battle between, I think, the net leaders. They're doing 55s now, so Chris is dragging them along a bit quicker, which is negating the effect of our leader, who's doing 54s, and that sounded like a thump. Who was that? I think that might have been Dan, because he's got Mike, who's... Fair play to Mike, he's a lap behind, but he's still going. And then let's have a look and see what Mike's doing in terms of fuel. Right, Mike's not stopping, so he's going to go flat out, doing 54.0, so he's pretty quick. Oh, that was a... Dan, so someone was getting sideways through there. That was Dan, I think. Right, so actually, Little's GP has now got a bit of a gap. And his softs are wearing as well, actually. He's really going through his softs as well. He's punishing those softs. But he's going to start getting a little bit of oversteer now, which might slow him down a little bit. Too much action in these races, I always lose my voice. Right, we've got 10 people watching. Hello to all 10 of you. It's nice to see so many people watching on a Saturday night. But I think that's probably the first time in a long time I've had 10. Right, I have no idea how this is going to go. Right, Dan's in. Again, with lots of fuel. I'm not quite sure why he's chosen to stop with so much fuel. James is plodding on. He's in the 54s now, but he's got plenty of fuel, more than Wayne, who's had a good start of the race, but I think he lost touch a bit when him and Alex collided. Here's Pat, who's now on softs. Alright, we can see now how much time he loses. It's 16 seconds. Oh, that's helpful. That's disappeared. I think it's about 36 seconds by the looks of it. come back that time. Alright, we'll go back to that. Alright, Dan's in 9th and Mike's soldiering on in 10th. Right, at the front then, top 3 you can just see, and then this battle between Aloe, Chris and Chris in the background. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to play. I don't think these guys are going quick enough to make up in the last 10 minutes. So they're making this 40 minutes actually. It's made a really interesting edge to this. I mean, that does a fuel save anyway, but it at least gives the 40-minute races always give it the opportunity for a 2-stop to potentially work. Food for thought, maybe a 10 minutes and a 40 minutes away forward. Right, so Alex is in 2nd, and Chris is now back into 3rd. Chris R has got lots of fuel on board, and although he's got similar to Christian, so they got half a tank to last 10 minutes. They're really going to have to fuel save that, and you can see Aloe is doing exactly that. He's pushing Chris along. I'd like to know whether if Aloe knew that Chris was so good on his fuel. Alex terrified through that corner. Every lap Alex terrified. There's some watch from the back of Christian's car. Everyone else is a little bit spaced out. I'm really enjoying this. It's great. The oval's always so good, especially this invert 40-minute race. Look how close they get. Right, Chris has got a good run on us. Right, Chris P is in. It's going to be a splash and dash pretty much. I'll get off back, that makes you a little bit sick. Oh, I keep going too far. Right, so Chris R is going to be pushing Christian along, which Christian won't mind at all. Alright, Chris P is only just getting into his box. He'll probably throw soft on this again. It's quite a slow stop as well, which doesn't help. Alright, it's dropped down to 6. Where's Wayne? Wayne's not stopping. So out comes Chris P in 6th, although Wayne might get him as we come out of the pit lane. No, not quite. Right, he's gone for hards. Okay, he hasn't used hards tonight. He's down in 6th. Wayne's in 7th. Pat is in 8th. Alex is stopping. So the 2 stoppers are coming in now for a sort of kind of splash and dash. Right, Pat, let's have a look. So Pat did a... So 16 seconds he lost on 28, and then he lost 27 seconds. 6, so that's 42, 43 seconds for a stop. So yeah, it's quite long. It's quite a lot of time to make up. 42, 43 seconds. That extra stop, although your first stop would be short as well, so you're probably talking 35, 40 seconds. So yeah, it's worth a punt. Let's see what Chris can do. He's going to be flying now, although he's on the hards. If he was on softs, this could be quite interesting. Right, so we have 7 minutes left. Spunmeier's got a third of a tank left. Chris has got a half, so he can go full beams. Aloe's got a third as well, so it's interesting to see what Chris R is going to do here, because he's got the most fuel. He can choose to rag it. Aloe's on hards, Chris is on mediums, and so is Spunmeier. So Aloe's doing a really good job of tracking these two. Oh no! No, 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 no! Oh, Aloe chucked it down the inside. Let's have a look from that. Let's have a look from his car. He was giving him a nice tow, a nice bump draft. Let's go. This view's quite a good one. Oh yeah, he just washes out wide on his hards. And I think he knows it. He does know it. What's happened to Chris? Oh, he's had to do a proper 360 as well. So that's going to give Chris P, he's miles off, and now all of a sudden he can see third. And he's got damaged Chris R in front of him as well. Although he's doing the right thing though. Just letting him catch up. That's going to bring Chris right into play. He's got hards as well, but he goes past the Lurry. Oh, that's so unfortunate. This was shaping up to be an absolute cracker. That's given Christian now. Absolute gift. So he top scores for the first 2 rounds, and he's going to get, see if he doesn't drop it through turn 1. He can fuel save, take it nice and easy. James has sneaked into second. Look at this. He's not stopping on his mediums. James is sneakily very good on the ovals. Didn't have a particularly good first 2 races, but he's fuel saved his way into second, so very nicely done. Right, Chris is up to his third. He's got Chris P, so the 2 championship rivals. Chris has got mediums, and he's got a lot more fuel than Chris P. Is that going to make... He's going to go into second, but I don't think he's going to get that to the end. We were saying that with fuel saving, you could get 20 minutes out of a tank. So he's got to get over 5 minutes from a quarter of a tank. I'm not sure that's going to do it, you know. He could salvage something here. Then James is in second. He's doing 54.7s though, so he's still lapping nice and consistently. These guys are in the 53s. Chris R's now got the fuel to be able to properly attack. Although he's now dropped down to 5th on his hards, Alex on his mediums now can attack him. Although his fuel's not looking that brilliant. And Pat isn't that far behind either, so we're going to get a bit of a crescendo when it comes to probably second down to 7th. Wayne's not that far behind either. There's Dan dropped off a bit, and Mike is on lap 38. He's actually not that far behind Dan, so he's doing a good job. He's managed to get himself back on the lead lap. What's Mike's lap times? He's doing 54, low 54s, he's done 53.9, so Mike is certainly flying. Christian's really backed off now, he's in the 57s. So he's dropped a couple of 2-3 seconds a lap just to make sure that fuel gets him home. James actually, I mean, they've got the same fuel. James is going for it. He obviously thinks he can catch Christian here, but I'm not sure he can get that fuel to the end. Whereas Littles, as we thought, is now on fumes soon. He's going to have to stop again. He's obviously decided this is my drop round. Could go over a broke and see what happens. Nice, he's pulling away from Chris R, but Chris R will inherit third when he stops. Chris R's got loads and loads of fuel. He's actually obviously had a thump. He's got a bit of damage. I think Chris has actually fuel saved too well. He's got way too much left. So Alex is now up to 5th. Although he's in 6th, he might be... He's doing 55, so... not too shabby, whereas Alex is now into the 53s. Absolutely flying in his cool air. He might be eyeing up Chris in front of him. He shouldn't do, because they're on the same tyres and Chris has got more fuel. Alright, low in 6th. Pat is catching him. Pat's on softs. Super racy. Wayne is probably a little bit too far adrift. What's going on up there? Right, James is going for it. And alternatively, Chris R has now passed Chris P, because Chris P's realised he's got to stop. I expect to see that car peel off this lap. No, not yet. He's going to do one more. He's probably decided I'm just going to really dial it back and try and get this thing to the end on fumes. Right, I'm intrigued by this. Chris has got easy 2 laps of fuel. James, is he going to make 2 laps of fuel? And look at Chris R. Chris R has come back into this. So, Christian is now 58s. Chris R could win this still. He can go for broke. We are going to have 2 more laps. Right, and there's Chris P. He's going to have to roll this in and stop. That's going to lose him a chunk of places. Right, has Christian got any more fuel to put his foot back down again? Let's see what this lap time is. He's back in the 54s, so he's speeded up. James is doing 54s as well. Chris has done a 53.8. Chris is now the fastest man of the top three. Alex, I don't think he's going to make this either. Although he's pretty much the same. Pat is pretty much the same. Wayne's pretty much the same. They all must know something I don't. Right, Chris has dropped back to the back. Right, here we go. Oh, looks like James and Chris. This could be the escape that Christian needs. These two battling a little bit. Chris has gone through. I think that's James working out that he's going to have to basically knock this thing out of gear and roll it around. But Chris is after Christian. So these two been scrapping all race long. Christian's done a 54.7, so he's speeded up half a second quicker, slower than Chris R, who's got him in his sights. Right, so Alex has crossed the line, just finishing out of fuel. Wayne's finished 7th, down 8th. Oh, Mike's going to finish 9th, but we need to watch what's going on between these two leaders. We're going to get another classic DTCC oval finish, I think. Chris is going around the other side of it. Oh, they're leaning on each other as they come into the last corner. Oh, Chris has gone in super hard. Oh, was that just a missed break? Chris R obviously thinks that was all fair and square. Let's just quickly watch that back. I think that was just a case of going in a bit too hot from Christian. But let's have a watch. Last corner, skirmish again. Yeah, oh, I think that was just a little too late on the brakes. Wow, so we thought he was dead, gone and buried after he had that collision with Alex. And look at that, he comes through to take the win. James is going to get second, but he's out of fuel. Christian's out of fuel. So Chris finishes beautifully. What a win from Chris. Well done, sir. That was nicely judged. Look at this. Has anyone got any fuel left? Pat's catching him quickly. Oh, is Pat going to get him? Pat gets second. Christian crawls across the line for third. James gets fourth. Wow. Larry's going to get fifth. Right, this Pat gets second place in a 40-minute DTCC race. That's epic. Well done, Chris. He played the fuel game perfectly. And we thought he was a goner, but he came back and won that one. And I think that was deserved. Well done, Chris. Wow, there we go. So now you can look on the right. So Chris takes it from Pat. What a 1-2 that was. Then Christian gets a third, running out on the line. Threw everything into it. It was a brilliant race from him. Pat says finished with 0.1 laps of fuel from 5th at the start of last lap. Yeah, that was brilliant. Right, whew, that was good. I hope that livened up your Saturday night. Thank you for joining us. That has been DTCC round 4 from Blue Moon Infield B. Let me know, boys, what you thought of that track. That looked quite a lot of fun. Right, we should have, I think it's Interlagos next, which I may or may not stream live, which will be next Wednesday, or maybe I'll race again, who knows. My usual style. No, I don't think I will. Well, I like Interlagos, it'll be quick there. Right, so that'll be next Wednesday, so we'll either stream that live or do a replay. But what a race! That was brilliant. Thank you for watching, and we will see you hopefully at some point next week. Have a good weekend.